underneath your belt isn't the worst thing to have. We saw with Twisted Minds, especially today, where, you know, they kind of felt like when nobody was landing factory, they struggled with kind of basically, what do I do with my hands right now? Like, I don't know what to do. And I think getting some more reps will be really, really crucial. And so for some of these squads, you know, like the Gentlemates, I think they're a great team to kind of shout out. Like, yeah, sure, they're feeling good. They're sitting pretty right now. But if they go to that last chance qualifier, especially with this type of crowd, I don't think it's the worst thing for them, given that a really lack of strategy on day one. They've started to pick it up here in day two, kind of continue some of that momentum throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you can see the General Gromolog, the Little Prince and Enkyo, and support man in Harlow very much so coming alive right now. But for one last time, for 7 of these teams, you will drop into group stages and do everything you can to claim a place in Saturday's finals. The rest of you will suffer into the LCQs, and we're getting a very heavy circle pull down towards the opposite side of the map from the first two. This is going definitely, ladies and gentlemen, towards that living quarters region.
You can already see some of our teams around here, and let's have a look at Stronghold Enigma, and we have a new team in the mix, given how this zone has pulled Inner Circle. They have started to join Five Fears and EXO Esports in a little bit of this fight, and already we see Teeny and Obs. They're getting active. Teeny currently sitting on one, all three moving on forward. Bray gets found out. Obs is there for the trade, but he managed to get out of dodge because you are going to have EXO. They are looking at you from above, and Anxiety, he actually is not even able to kind of sit towards Stronghold either. He's made his way up towards the 10th side, and well, this is a little peculiar.
Absolutely.
Zone pulls to the other corner, and what happens to the Gentlemates? They change their drop spot, which is something that we have seen before.
Yeah, we talked about this quite a few times in their past, particularly World Series last year. They had this Alpha drop, Bravo drop, depending on where the zone pulled, and we've seen more and more through this tournament. It is important to not have to cross the entire map, recognizing that all the Frenchmen, as they start to lay claim to the building that the Five Fears currently hold. Anxiety finds one though, Big Man finds the other, so you will have to back off if you are Enkyo.
Enkyo
alive, will be in front of Big Man, and do you fall? You do! The Gentlemates will be knocked out early here. They will be sat in that 5th position, but that is a tough end map for your group stage after all the momentum you built, after everything you had done. We move over to the control center because this map is far from done. You've got the Movistar Koi and 100 Thieves squaring up again, and Novo are here to join the party.
Sometimes the caster curse is just a little bit too powerful, my friends. Gentlemates early exit here in this map. It was a great strategy. It was a great idea. Apparently a couple other people have the same idea. Enough about that. Let's talk about 100 Thieves in this battle as Goat Clamp and NetOdds. They find a good two. Gabe Kuhn and Skullface taken off the map. And well, where's Blast? He's going for a nice little swim, but the fight isn't done yet. Is already some shots get thrown on out. Cam's on the boat, just trying to be able to play that anchor. So for Yavix and Vortex, can you manage to take the fight on in? Great swing right now from Vortex. You bring down Volcom, you're good for the full. Can you manage to push on up to the 2nd and 3rd floor? Go Clamp and NetOdds doing a great job. Play 2 by 2. A little bit of a battle, but look who's also decided to get into the mix. Skullface, he lands in through the window, tries to get active, and he might have done enough damage to help this go huge. No, it's Goat Clamp. He's there, he makes the trades, he finds the kills, and you don't even lose NetOdds in that battle. You're gonna be able to get the revive on out. A great stabilization fight for that squad.
Yeah, Movistar Koi really need to come online right now. They're way off the cut, a good 30 points off coming into this map, and to get a bit of momentum towards the back end of this group setup and into the next one would be huge for the LATAM squad. Let's take a look then. Ammo Shack's going to be where Ilo Lam is laying claim by himself for now, letting his boys get back into the fight. Max, another squad that really need to come alive. VKA going to find a bit of purchase in towards this living quarters side. Landon getting knocked down below. That Vision Esports roster continuing to struggle. Seeing a little bit of the 9Z Globin team in the mix. Another squad that just desperately need to find a Hail Mary map. A big play coming on through. And that kill feed, by the way, Vision Esports, they get themselves back into the fight and find plenty into VKA.
Yeah, Team Vision doing a great job getting just back into the mix. And Azen, well, very quickly, he's the last player left alive. A little bit of ground loot in hand. Just trying to maybe catch anybody coming up the stairs. Ladra hits hard, it hits fast. And at that range, you're definitely going to melt anybody coming on through. We see the circle in your top left-hand corner. We'll pull down on in. I think you made the right call here, friend. It looks like we are probably ending similar to what we saw earlier here today, pulling back down towards that factory. side. Now what side of Factory, I don't know, because it feels like as we've gotten to our final zones, it has a little bit of a mind of its own and pulls to a completely different side than we always expect. So I think if you're able to hold down this Factory area, that would be huge. And well, for Team Vision, that is exactly what they're going to try and do as they bring it to VKA. Echo, tip of the spear, flies on in. Gonna be able to find Kazu. You got one player that's left out in the water, and they seemingly have this idea. Vidati is here. Does Echo hop up over the wall in time? You gotta look down through. I know the water can sometimes be hard to see, but I think for the time being, they don't want to expose themselves too much, and maybe even says, hey, let's go ahead, let's farm him a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's a good play from Vidati. Aizen actually falls up towards living quarters, and I think he recognizes you're about to be swarmed. And so when Kazu goes down, at least anchoring your team in, we get a quick look over this fight that's going to be setting itself up in a circle, looking to find through the backside of this matchup. There's going to be Vision involved, there's going to be 9Z involved. Where do you set yourself up if you are the APAC team? Molly's going to go high, you'll get a little bit of a connect, but nothing in terms of a true striking blow. And getting a look here, so many different teams starting to collapse on this. Virtus.pro now starting to get in towards the mix as well. Vision, they're starting to try and back off. They want to try and make sure that their anchor stays alive in this. Caught a little bit between a rock and a hard place. Inner Circle still up, Scythe on the rooftop. Genuinely 5 different teams beginning to contest over the same patch of land here as the circle drags everyone off to this corner.
Yeah, I think as the circle closes, you're going to see a couple of power positions be a real spot for some of these battles. Top green in living quarters going to be one of them. That's where we see teams like Inner Circle and obviously 5 Fears are battling it out. Factory's going to become a big POI with Team Vision and Virtus.pro. And where's the last one? Well, it's up at headquarters where we can still see AG Global. They are holding on. Nate Dogg up in the tower, sniper in hand. They are just going to try and maybe hold down from this prison side as well. So tonight's little triangle that we're going to see happen as the zone starts to go in a little bit more. Nate Dogg with 2. This team recently changed up their strategy in MMO. We used to see Rated up here with the sniper in hand, and it just felt like maybe things weren't going their way. So, well, they say, Nate Dogg, we're going to let you get back to your anchor role, which we've seen him do in the past, and we let Rated kind of off his leash a little bit, play with the duo of old Scummin', and I think they're just looking to try and run around this map.
Oh my God.
And it seemingly is working pretty good as Inner Circle, and I am right there with you, my friend. Teeny on 11.
Absolutely frying Inner Circle. They just like to get their heads down sometimes. L1, R1 it a little bit, not overthink the situation, and very much profiting in the living quarters fight. Swatted away multiple teams. We look on over. EXO Esports, they need to find some footing. Will catch quite a bit of damage into Cams, who stayed up for an extra moment, but Penguin will clean that up. Now you've got to consider that rotation coming in from Movistar Koi off the control center side. A couple of early bits of damage going out from HP. You've got to be a little bit worried about Inner Circle looking over this, by the way, though. They're off towards green side. Could definitely peer over the top of this fight. Nectar's going to use the smokes. Daisy chain himself across. 5 already on the board. And gets himself over towards safer territory, but it's not much safer for his teammates. EXO are going to be under pressure. Up high goes Netodds. Manages to find 2. Notrius will at least find a knock onto Netodds. Volcom stays up for the trades. So for now, you live to see another day, but not much longer for EXO. You're getting pushed by the Inner Circle, who continue to fly and fry here and find yet another wipe. And to join them, 5 Fears set packing.
Whew, a little bit of a crikey, mate, as the Australians will activate, fly on down, clean up a team, get them off the map. Wow. Finally, it may take a little bit, but here we go. Nice little fights happening as this zone pushing so many of these teams here together. Scummin', he's going to be found by Rock Esports and Wars. Head on a swivel, going to try and back down Rated here, pistol in hand. Can you manage to get on out of here? No, the Welshman will activate right at the correct time. Find another, currently sitting on 6. You can see the look in his eyes, the determination. This has been a year of redemption for Rated, and I'd like to think that the Esports World Cup will continue to be that, as he is on the hunt for Prodigy right now, and he is able to find his prey. Prodigy wiped off the map along with them, Rock Esports.
Yeah, tough times for Rock. It felt like the first 3 games that they had in this tournament, they were pretty much unstoppable. Ever since then, it's not been great. Let's get a look off towards Factory side. This is likely going to be where we end up, ladies and gentlemen. So the fight's here setting us up towards endgame positioning. Virtus.pro in a good spot to hold that right now. They've actually managed to send VKA packing off towards the shoreline, setting themselves up, looting. They're definitely going to want the high ground here. You've got to be a little bit worried about teams up above towards headquarters. They can still look over you for now, but within the next circle or so, that position that they're playing for is going to be huge. And Vision, well, they're trying to recover in the water, and I don't know how long you're going to be able to do that for.
I think this has just been a game of just pure violence, dude. I mean, we are just coming to the end of Zone 3, and we are already missing almost half our teams. And you can see in the kill feed there, Virtus.pro Virtus.pro. They've managed to kind of control Factory. They've pushed on down to Boat. They know that Team Vision is here. They want to try and wipe them off the map, but it looks like you have some new company as Movistar Koi. They watched Virtus.pro move off of this Factory side, and then he says, great, let me hang out on this railing, let me throw some shots down on range. You're now your Virtus.pro, feel the pressure.
Yeah, VKA are starting to collapse back in on this. They recognize there's actual timing for them to get involved in the fight. Vision just about staying alive for now, but Noobs will clean up Echo, so it's FIFA killing Lem. What can you do? Well, it turns out not very much as Noobs arrives and finds his 9th kill in the feed. But you have given up that Factory position. We just mentioned it. That's now going to be contested between 2 different teams. Can you rotate in? All the noise you've just made will mean eyes turn towards you. Getting back into that position, going to be a tough task. Whether the team currently leading our board bets the most at breaking POIs.
Yeah, Team Vision, you're coming off a map win. Maybe you're feeling yourself just a little bit too much, trying to maybe end the second set with some big numbers on hand. And well, unfortunately for you, Virtus.pro, they're going to be the ones to stop you in your track. For VKA though, they have been able to stay alive. So some of those earlier moments where we watched Team Vision not actually go after Vidati in the water, it's going to kind of come back to bite them because, well, it's a little bit of stabilization. They get the regain, and now they've gained control of the POI you so desperately wanted to hang on to. Everything will come to a crawl for a slight moment as we have a couple of teams just kind of floating around each other in a couple of POIs. You can see for Inner Circle, it's been an aggressive early game already as we see Teeny with 14 kills to his name already, and we still have 15 other players in the lobby.
Yeah, he's got to figure out this rotation though. If you are in a circle, you've got to think about what you want to hit next. Factory's going to be extremely busy, but if everyone starts to kick off down there, you could ride through the back door and third-party situation, something that they love to do, something that we've seen them do so well at Living Quarters to get them into this position. A huge map here could put them inside that top 7. They will have to sit out on those final 3 games and hope that they don't fall out of that top 7, but just putting yourself there for now would be far more than any of us expected when we first came to Riyadh. VKA, another team that, quite frankly, underdog story. It's been tough going for them so far through today, but you've got the top of Factory. Zone, though, is going to pull off. It's going to actually drag headquarters direction, seeing, again, a little bit more of that really harsh pull in these late zones that is just more prevalent, especially in this tournament. But just recently, when it comes to recent updates, down beneath Movistar Koi, they're trying to hold VP. You only have 2 players alive. Up towards the top, it's actually going to be Gamax and AG Global with win condition.
Could be a great opportunity, could be a great game, but that's until Inner Circle starts making some moves. Unfortunately for you, OBS gets found by Rated on the rotation. I think this is the right call right now. You don't have to push on up towards this upper side. You know there's going to be teams down towards this Factory area. You see the buyback go off as well, so you're going to have an idea, and I think for Teeny and Bray, this is exactly what you want to be doing right now. Just hold the line. OBS does get finally fooled on the outside as Vortex, as a solo, just slowly walking his way on in. This could be an opportunity right now for Teeny and Bray to take down some of these top teams, and I like that they're sort of splitting themselves, because as these teams start to come up towards the top, they are in prime position. Some great shots, the armor cracks coming on through. This Cypher at this exact range is going to be huge, but from behind, it's a Dongi! It's a 2-piece! He's not going to try and come up from these stairs, but he is sensing a little bit that this is going to be dangerous. Backs on up, and look where the zone pulls Enigma! They don't even have to push on up, because it goes all the way back to the Factory side!
Yeah, they slowly work their way through the lower side of this Factory in order to clear it out, in order to stay alive, avoid too much attention. You're going to have Inner Circle, though, manage to drop in. They found their way into this final fight somehow. Movistar Koi is still going to be a part of the conversation too. AG Global find kills onto Gamax, but it is returned, and Sukra, the young man who replaced JTech, will wipe AG Global off the map.
And we're now into our top 5, 1.4 multiplier confirmed at least. And when you're a team like Inner Circle, we saw how many kills Teeny had. This is those moments where, yes, you love the 1.4, but if you can manage to play as this duo, you will be able to get that 1.6. Teeny, the veteran, as well as Bray, the young 18-year-old, just trying to close out this game. You're watching all of the carnage go around you as a PA rips across. It's good for a couple of kills. Blink of an eye, a quick rotation. We're into our top 3.
Inner Circle win this. This could lift them inside that top 7 well and truly. Bray, Teeny, they're going to start to push up towards the higher ground. One member, Virtus.pro, still in the fight, and one member of Movistar Koi. Where do you go? Blast Shot's going to sting for a moment. Bray trying to fight Confam. You find the first, so who's left? It's going to be Noobs. What can you do? Well, the APAC team are here to make a statement, and nobody saw this level of performance coming from them. That could well truly put themselves inside that top 7. In fact, I'd hedge a good bet that it will. Whether they stay there, we don't know, but showing up on the main stage, making a statement for their entire region.
It was a 62-point game. It was Teeny with a 13 KD in the final map of their qualifier to get them here to land. They struggled yesterday. They come in here, and in their final game of day 2 of the group stage, it's almost a repeat performance. I like what you said. It might be enough to put them into the top 7, but more importantly to me, even if it isn't, that's still a team that I think they're going to go into the LCQ with a lot of confidence and say, hey boys, we can make it to that final day. We know we can do it. That's a confidence. That's a momentum builder. And you got to give a huge credit to that man on your screen right there. Teeny coming out, just absolutely shooting again. I saw them, I was walking backstage. I said, hey, you know, good stuff yesterday, boys. And they said, we're not happy. Like, that wasn't good enough. We have to play better here today, and I think that's one hell of a way to do it.
Now, the right mindset indeed here is in a circle. We'll take the map 6 of day 2 here. This will be the last time we see them in group stages. Also